officer of T3Live.com. Here's your disclosure. Please make sure to read it thoroughly before we get going with the midday call. It's 11:24 on October 24th. It is Thursday. Hello, everyone. I hope everyone's feeling good. We are busy. If you're not busy now, you're never going to be busy, even though sometimes it feels like there's nothing to do, and then sometimes it feels like there's a gazillion things to do. That's what happens during earnings season. You definitely have to know what you know, why you own it. Definitely have to know what's reporting and what's going to affect what you might have on as a swing trade, long or short. There's a lot of things you need to be planned with. That's what I do at Red All Access, is I try and plan my day from a 4:45 in the morning, so I know exactly what's supposed to happen, when it's supposed to happen, and or if something's supposed to happen, be ready for it. I think that's half the battle. And then executing, and then using your tier system, and then picking your spots. That's a whole nother ball of wax. Either way, lots of things to do this week. This morning, futures were up a bit. You had a bit of a fade where yesterday's highs didn't hold, so things retraced, which is fine. A little choppy, obviously. When they've been opening lower, they've been going green, and that's a decent trade people like to take. And when they've been opening higher, they go from green to red, which some people short, which has been good for cash flow. And then there's some continuity to sitting things. So let's just get to it. It's 11:25. This is your midday video. I do a video every morning pre-market, which gives strategies that I'm looking at in stocks and sectors that I'm looking to trade the first few hours with. And just so you know, I make a living. Yes, me make a living usually the first 90 minutes of the day. By this time, I'm already pretty much done with all my active trades. I still have some swings on. I have my stops in, and I get ready to go to the gym and work off, the stress of what just transpired from 4:45 in the morning until now. So, by you getting a video now, don't be running to your desk and start buying and selling things. This is not the time that I am typically very active. Now's the time when I let things kind of work out, set up for the close, and then, obviously after hours is earnings, which is going to be a busy one today. So anyway, if you look at the chart of the S&P, here we are. The channel is still still here. We're near the top end of it. I've been in some kind of portfolio approach with lots of different options and stocks pretty much since this day. Not the bottom. The bottom was just a trade. Remember this Red Dog reversal, and then this was another one. And right when we kind of cleared 29.29 and gapped up and held it, I've been for the past 2 weeks massaging positions with my tier system. Also rotating in and out of different names depending on the setup each day, and then holding a few, which has been actually pretty fruitful. So anyway, today we opened up above 3014 and couldn't really hold it. Then we went below 3008 and it didn't fall apart. What do I mean by that? Let's just put this like here. This was 29.95, came as low as what is that, 3000, bounced off it, still just fine. Okay, lots of things happening in here in individual names. As far as the Qs, looking better, right? Look at this nice bull type flag. 2 days ago we said, can we hold this gap? Or this was actually Friday. Yesterday also held it above it, higher low, reclaimed 191.79 there. So if you sold on this day, which was a big wide range bar that couldn't hold here, you were able to buy it lower as this got reclaimed. And now here we are in a bull flag once again. And the chances are, what are we going to do here? Are we going to get above this, get above that, and break out? I'd love it. I love playing breakouts. I love adding on strength. It's been so tricky, though, to add on strength, except for Apple, in the past month. And today we actually made money short. Red Dog got short. Yes, I do short things, especially versus a 5-minute high, especially when things are extended from the 8 day. But I call that a cute short because all it is for quick cash flow because, you want to stick with the trend. That's how you make money. So anyway, it's actually looking pretty darn good here. Let's go to Apple because that's what you guys wanted to hear about. So Apple, this is what I write every morning. So when I say to Red All Access and to you guys, I put 14 to 20 names with an active plan on there. Okay, well, here you go. So this was Apple. This was pre-market. It was up here. Apple is opening at another all-time high, which was up here. We had another nice swing trade from 234 to 242. So that was here. From this spot to here into here. These 3 days was my last swing trade in Apple. Okay, I got out of it on this day. And I did not rebuy it yesterday, and I didn't go home long it today. But today was actually a nice short. But, for this 3-day move, it was really nice. And then here, this was another one. Remember this one? Was inside, above the 8. They bought it here, added here, got lighter because on my day 3, which is my day count rule, I usually reduce. And then right into here, I'm like, let me just get out of the way because we're a little extended. and then it wasn't really there for a day or two, and then got back involved before the race. So anyway, this was a nice, sell. Didn't mean it's a short. Doesn't mean it's game over for Apple. It just means from here to there, with another upgrade, I felt like it was a better short than buy in the first 5 to 15 minutes. And I did actually nibble it in the hole, but I don't have it right now. So that's Apple. You can navigate it or you can invest in it, whatever you feel like doing. My big trade overnight was Amazon. Not Amazon, I'm sorry, Amazon maybe tonight. Maybe that was just foreshadowing a Freudian slip. It was Tesla. Tesla around 3:30, I tweeted to Red Laurel Access. I said, hey guys, this is very speculative, but I like the risk reward. The sentiment around Tesla is very negative. I feel like Musk hasn't said a word because people are on him to keep his mouth shut. I see Teslas all around the road. My friend just got it, and he actually bought the stock himself like a month ago, saying, this is the best car I've ever owned besides a few of my other friends that have the trucks that have the, wait, let me get in here, that have the doors go like that, like the old school DeLoreans. Those things are so fun. It's so funny / awesome. So anyway, I bought the 275s for 250. I sold the 290s for 80 cents. My cost was 175. I'm like, I'll risk a zero, meaning risk my entire 175 based on how many calls I buy to maybe make 15. So anyway, I was looking at it like this. I also traded it after hours. Said it's got to get above 264 to 262, and if it does, and it's a strong report, I was thinking it can get to 290. And then this was like much higher. So anyway, so I sold the 290s, and I made $15. I actually made a little bit more than that because when it was above 300, I actually sold the 275s, and then they pulled back a little bit, and I'm on that pull, and I bought back the 290s, and then I got done with it. And now this is different. Now let's change this. Okay, now that strategy is done. Done. Goodbye. Okay, now we see how much of this gap up does it hold, and do we get a new price point to trade against? So now here you have a huge gap. Oops, I drew that wrong. Let's bring it down. Bring it down. Yeah. So at this point, here's your gap. When you have a pro gap, usually the market stays in the direction of it. So right now, all you know is your point of reference from the morning. That's 289.20. If you weren't long it overnight and didn't have options like me, and you think Tesla turned the corner and you think it's going back to wherever it's going, all-time highs or not, now this is your point of reference, 289.20. So that is your spot that if you wanted to be long Tesla now, you could be long versus 289.20. And then let it go sideways. And now at this point, the high here is 304.93. At some point, if we hold that gap for a little bit and Tesla continues to show strength, then the next buy price will be if it gets above 304.93 for more action. But for right now, all you know is you have a huge gap that if this gets protected for the next few sessions or so, it could continue. If you traded it after hours and you bought it through here, you did well. And if you took the options with me, you're very happy. And I'm very happy right now. It definitely helped. I had a few paper cuts with options, but if you risk $1 to $2 worth of premium in a few different options, and then from 1 or 2 of them you make a double, 1 or 2 of them you lose all the premium, and then 1 or 2 you get a 700 times on it, you make a lot of money, but at least your risk is defined. So anyway, there's that. It's like Twitter. I had options last week. The 42s. I bought it when the stock was like 40.5 or $1.10. And then yesterday, Twitter was like $39. I'm like, you know what? I need $3 just to break even on my options. I just don't feel like, flipping the coin. Even it could be up X percentage and I still lose. So I sold them for 55 cents, which was lucky. And then today, Twitter had a huge gap down. Look at that. Boom. I was trying to buy it in here and it was very, very funky. And then so I guess somebody knew something in there. So anyway, what do you know now in Twitter? I guess you can move this up here. What's the low here? The low here is 31.10. It's in the penalty box for a while now. The next trade that I'll look at, if I look at a trade here, I'm not going to be very active here for a bit, is, this 31.10 hold. Same way you had a big gap up, now you have a pro gap to the downside. So, if this thing stays unfilled, okay, which it might, chances are it could head a lot lower. If, from 45 to 31, a huge move lower, perhaps the next trade would be, does it hold the next day or so. Then you could be long versus slow, and then maybe if it gets above this, then we could play some kind of gap fill. But we'll see. This high here is now 32.39, so these are your new points of reference. I am not in Twitter right now. 32.39. Maybe it goes sideways for a few days and then tries to fill that gap, and that would be a nice trade considering we didn't get stuck in this down to here. We didn't get stuck in this up here. Remember this false breakout when everyone on TV was promoting, I'm not going to say who, and then this bar was get out of Dodge when it broke the symmetrical triangle to the downside. Then look at it, below all the moving averages, rejected every time. That is not great action. Here we had great action. Look at that, above the 821 day, going higher, boom, 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 boom until then. This was different. Trends change. As active traders, you have to recognize what that is when it happens. So anyway, we'll see what happens here. If you're long versus the morning low, if it breaks the morning low, you better get out of the way. If you look longer term, this is, it could see this. In order to see below 28, it's got to break below 31.10 first. But at this point, it might, need some time to sift out. So don't overtrade it. So I did lose option money there, like 60 cents of my premium, which is nothing, But I also didn't get stuck in the stock because I have rules. So let's go back to here. So that's that for now. So Snap also was a situation where, we sold, remember, into that double top, and I was like, it's not special, it's out of the way. And then it was hovering around 14. I'm like, let me buy some $15 calls. Didn't buy it up at 18. Everyone loved it there. The advertising trends, this and that. Said I'll try some. And then I wound up losing all my premium. Yes, I bought the Snap calls for like $1.40. And, they became a zero. Okay, they became a zero because, I was buying them in here. I actually bought some one day where I bought the $1.05, sold them for $1.40, made 35% in a day, but those were the extra ones. And I think I bought the options here. And then on this day, I bought a little bit more and kind of got lucky. And then anyway, P.S., they're all expiring on Friday, worthless. But today, even though it's broken and even though it's not special and even though it's a pain. It was been a pain in the butt. The guys on the VTF were like, "Hey, Red Dog, Snap's about to do a Red Dog reversal here at 1293. What's a Red Dog reversal you add? Because you're not part of Red Dog All Access. So I'll give you a little education right now. A Red Dog reversal is a way to catch a counter trend trade in a name that has been going down for it could be one long day or 2 or 3 or 4 days, and it's a way to do it with a plan instead of trying to catch a falling knife. And here, traded below 1293. Put a low in at 1271. Okay, 1271 from 1293. Let's do the math. What's the risk there? I don't know. I'm a little frazzled right now, but 23 cents worth of risk. So anyway, was a buyer, and now you had a little oversold bounce into a support that now will be resistance. So I sold some. So I made a lot of money in this little trade. Didn't need to be a breakout trade. Didn't need to be a home run pattern. All I had to do is say, hey, from 15 all the way down to here, maybe it's a little oversold and we can catch a calculated bounce. How do you catch a calculated bounce? With a Red Dog reversal? Took back 1293, and now it's into resistance near 1360. So that's 70 cents, and this was 22 cents of risk. So 22 cents of risk to make 50, 60, 70 cents, and then maybe even a little bit more. Those are calculated plays. All right, let's move on. Things that I'm in Amazon calls. I actually had a nice little cute trade today, which I'm very proud of. Not proud of, but it is what it is. So if you remember, I bought the calls down here the first time with the stock, and I left for my race. I did not sell the calls at 1798 or 1800 because I said I'm in those calls for earnings. But I sold the stock, which was a nice trade, that week. So yesterday, when it was down in here, there was a trade. There was some news that Goldman said, "Oh, I would be a buyer of Amazon calls into numbers." I'm like, I'm like, yeah, you know what? I'll buy a little bit more because I bought these things around 16. They went to like 40, and then they were back at 17. So I'm like, let me buy some more again. So I bought some down here, and and then into today, I just sold them at like 24.25. So now I took that risk off. I'm still in options. I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do here. If I'm going to create a call spread for later. But I'm just happy that I don't have that much equity on the line. I cleared up all the equity from Tesla and had big gains. And now, I'm happy with what I was risking for options. I never want to risk too much in any individual option plays. So, by buying it in the hole yesterday and selling it today, I just funded my other options because I made a good 7, 8 points, and the other ones I just bought for 16. These were almost a double, not even earnings. But anyway, what I will do is I'll hold them if after hours we get a very, very solid print. Okay, they beat earnings, the guidance is good. It starts going through 1798. What I'll do is I will buy it after hours, same way you could have done with Tesla at that 1262, 1264. Buy it here, and then there's room. Like there's really room to 1850. Like this is your first room. If it all is really good, that's where it goes, 1850. And if it's like tremendous, I could see a move to 1924-ish. So I have the $1,800 calls still on. Bought them for like 16. They're like 25 now. I made some money on some of them, and now I'll see where we are towards the close on what else I want to do. What I might do is I might, if it continues to go and they're like $30, I might just sell them and then buy higher priced calls with less money risk. But we'll see. So that's the strategy. Amazon's been acting poorly. It's been out of play. Usually I like when Amazon is a leader, and it hasn't been a leader in quite some time now. But we'll see if they have decent numbers and if it'll help. And if it helps, that'd be great. And right now, I'm glad it's having a little 2-day move beforehand, so I was able to reduce some risk. So, after I sold Amazon and I booked Tesla, I said, you know what? I've been trading Google for a while, and Google looks really good. Google, to me, seems like it's set up. Doesn't mean it's going to happen, but it's set up for a strong report to make all-time highs. So I did buy some Google calls. Google's like beautiful right here. It's coming into this descending trend line. If you go look at the chart over 2 years, it hasn't made new highs and went. I was long the stock this morning. I sold it up a little bit. If Amazon is good and it's up 70, 80 points, Google's going to be up like 15 or 20. So if you're thinking about playing Google calls for numbers, you really have to be in them kind of now, or in them here when we were talking about it. If Amazon misses and it's down $100, it'll be down 15, and you still at least have a chance because Google's different than Amazon, and the report is Monday. So don't buy exactly what you want if you're playing for upside. So I just bought some, and I might even create a spread because these options, the 1270s were like $22. But if the report is strong, the first fast move I would think would be to this 1700. So the options that are 20 something will be 30 something. But really, that's not a move. You go to look at the 2 year, you look at this channel going sideways for so long. This is since 2018. You would think, the bottom end of the channel to the top end of the channel, all the price targets are 13, 14, 1500. So you would think that if it's really good and with a decent environment, you're talking 1350 tomorrow. Why can't it be up $70 Monday if it's going to deliver? It's a big if. I don't take the stock into it. I take options just in case it doesn't. Like people who took Twitter stock saying, "Hey, Twitter is great. I use it and I like Red Dog on it." No, or they got hurt. So anyway, I remember taking Google into this trade, not the stock, the options, and I lost a lot of money, but at least it was premium paid. Again happened here. So I think it's due for a real move. I like when the last two reports, what's it called, don't work, because then everyone gets a little sour on it that says it can't work. So at least it traps them short. So I'm in some. I'm in some, and we'll see. I'm hoping that Amazon's really good. I could take my profits, and then I really have a big cushion, and then I could figure out a stronger play to do with Google. So we'll see. Facebook, I have nothing going on. Still trying to prove it can hang in here. Overall, Facebook is just a battleground between Congress and the Hill and this and that. But overall, it held in here, even with Twitter the way it was. I think this is a different story than Twitter. I see a lot of advertising on Facebook. Versus I don't see much on Twitter at all. So this is gonna have to get above this to pop back in the range. This is real resistance. So kind of didn't fall apart, but has some room if it wants to. If Amazon's good, probably pops back up into here. Earnings aren't until next week. Some of the new issues. I've been sitting in Uber for the first time again for a bunch of days. Ever since this Red Dog reversal and a reclaimed 31.91, and now I think it's acting better. I think it can go a little bit more. Ever since Lyft said they'll be profitable early, maybe Uber says something, so figured I could be in some to manage. Lyft is the one that came out with the news, held where it had to. I still think it's, this is what I call an active sequence. So kind of first day up, held above it, boom, and now we'll see if this active sequence stays alive. So in order to stay, in order to stay alive, it had to stay above 42, which it did. I actually bought a little bit on the dip, which was nice today. So with some time, maybe it gets above there. We're not stuck in it from there. We're not stuck in it from up here. This is just a lower level, perhaps, trade. Buy them ugly. I hate buying them ugly, but sometimes you can make some cash flow from buying ugly if you time it right. And I'm a pretty damn good market timer, if I do say so myself. But anyway, what else? Oh, I'm in this SEDG, which has been really nice. I bought it yesterday, first time when it cleared 90. Just a nice chart setup from IBD. Someone brought it to my attention. I bought some. And then today, some guys bought it when it went above 92.60. I did not. I'm just still in it. Nice day two. Day one, day two. We as traders make a living finding stocks that have a nice day one that you could add on day two, and then usually you sell day three. That's one of my rule sets as far as my day count rules. But either which way, open down a little bit. You could have bought it through here, and there you go. Now this is what? This is 94.97. Not bad. So in conclusion, it's 11:45 on October 24th. We haven't been able to find power to break out of this S&P and this NASDAQ range, but you don't need to break out of a range to make money. You could tactically have a go-to list. I have a go-to list of 30 names on my note that I rotate into different orders based on the setups every day. I also give you, levels on all the sectors, just so you could create cash flow around them when they're trading in these ranges. Do the same thing with the names, because a lot of them have been kind of broken and not giving you great chart patterns to buy breakouts, but you could still make money without breakouts. This Roku is looking actually interesting again. Did a little red dog reversal here. What's that? Well, got below 127.02 and reclaimed it. This was a great trade for us down here, and it went all the way to 139. Now it's consolidating. So this active sequence, there are different active sequences I talk about in a lot of my webinars. This one was to the upside right here on this engulfing down day, became a bearish active sequence. First down day, follow through, bear flag, continuation. And right here was a potential new active sequence. You never know how long one's going to last. That's why you measure it along the way. Well, here, I remember this day was the day before Yom Kippur. People yelled at me for buying stock. You know what, I have an Italian wife, so I have to, I fast, but I'm not going to sit in temple all day just because, again, I'm a hybrid, even though I am Jewish. I'm just saying. Guys are like, oh, you're not going to be inscribed in the book of life. I'm like, why? They're like, because you're long stock, the next day. But anyway, that's I remember that. Anyway, a nice little move here. Follow through. Remember, this was in the news with Apple came out. This was nice. And now it's consolidating again, acting well. It moves when it wants to move. So just keep it on your radar that, the longer it stays in here, maybe you bought versus low, the higher the probability it can continue. We'll see. The big future for Roku still. But that's at least moving. And we like things that move. So that's on my go-to list, and it's been pretty on top of it ever since this move down there. Some guys caught beyond today for a red dog reversal. I just, why? Well, it got below 97.25 and reclaimed it. After being down friggin' 50 to 60 points. So a good trade for some. I missed it. I did not play it. I wish I did. Where could it go? Well, it might be able to go up to the 8 day, which it's been below for quite some time. But that was nice. So lots of things to do in lots of different areas. As long as you're looking at levels, you have your strategies, you're thinking clearly versus listening to all the noise around from whether it's the media or different websites or Washington. It's not our job. I hate to say our job is not to save the world. What you could do a good job with is being a good parent, a good brother, a good son, a good community member, and then hopefully grassroots, everyone's good like that, and then the world's a better place. And vote. With all that said, good luck. Brother All Access, I'll try and, get on the radio around 3 o'clock to let you guys know what I'm doing and tweet at you and show you my VTF. So this way it helps breed some confidence. And we'll see how things pan out later. Have a good afternoon.